Yeah, I'm really wondering how and why did you decide to start DJing?
Well, I've done a little bit over the years, but very, very few gigs. And some guys I know called Sandwell District in Berlin, they did a party at Berghain, and they invited me to play a DJ. So I couldn't resist the temptation. And this was about 18 months ago, and I had such a good time. I really enjoyed it. So I was a friend of mine who's an agent. I said, "Can you get me some dates?" And she said, "Yeah, sure." So that's it, really.
Now you're off.
I'm off. Yeah, my career is like taking off, like unbelievable. No, it's really nice. It's good fun, and well, I had a great time in Belgrade for sure. It was really nice, and the whole few days I was there was really nice. Had a really good time.
Okay, and you play techno?
Pretty much, yes, I do. Occasionally, I don't really like to do it, but sometimes I get specifically asked to play a more like 80s dark wave, whatever people call it, set. It's not, and I will do it sometimes, but it's not really what I want to do.
You can actually only play the mute catalog and it would work.
Pretty much, yeah.
So now that you're also a DJ and you're obviously touring around, does it affect your original business, which is running a label?
Well, I'm not doing that many dates, really. I'm maybe doing 7 or 8 a year. I mean, I'm not like a professional DJ doing 3 dates, 5 dates every weekend, so it's just a hobby, really, a kind of a nice, more than a hobby. I enjoy it a lot,
Okay, so Mute is not under EMI anymore, as far as I know, right?
Yeah.
How does it feel?
No,
What led to that?
Well, it's a bit of a long story. As well, I can make it short. I mean, I sold Mute to EMI around 2001 for a number of reasons. One was that there was a guy there who was running all of Europe who I knew very well, who I'd worked with for many years, who I thought was great. We were in a good position to get a great deal in terms of control, etc. In the previous years, we'd had some financial problems, so I thought it was a good opportunity anyway to do it. This guy left after a few years, the new management came in, wasn't quite the same. Anyway, so I decided to leave. So Mute is independent again, which is fantastic. It's stressful, it's a lot of work. It's much harder work, actually, but it's much more enjoyable and much more satisfying, and yeah, it's really great.
Isn't it maybe easier these days to do it independently? I mean, the whole music industry has changed so much and it's falling apart in different pieces. So maybe, to keep it on a more independent scale is...
Yeah, it's definitely... I mean, it depends what you want from it. I think if we were doing mainstream pop artists, to have you need to work with more of a major label, but I don't really think you do. There's just there's more money there, that's all, and that's it. And if you don't need the money, or you don't necessarily have to have the money to do what you want to do, then I think it's fine. And we're not spending fortune, we're not doing hundreds of thousands of pounds on videos anymore, we're not spending fortunes on the kind of pop side of music, so,
Did downloading and the whole internet and the availability of music and different music formats somehow change the way that you approach your label?
Well, I think it's, of course. I mean, it changes everybody's...
You're the one actually who was not complaining about it. I've read somewhere that you actually are really happy with the way that things are developing.
I don't waste my time complaining about stuff, really, that I can't really control. I mean, you just work with it somehow. I mean, of course I can complain about it, but it's a waste of time and energy. I'd much rather put that energy into figuring out how to work with it, and that's it really. So I don't. I mean, there's different. There's lots of different elements of illegal downloading. The thing that pisses me off the most about it is when you have an album. Say you're going to release an album in August, and then somebody somehow gets hold of a copy, and then puts it all over the internet for free before the album is released. Because I think that's disrespectful to the artist as well, and I think it's damaging to the artist's career potentially. I find that pretty bad. So we have as high security as we can to prevent that happening, and then when it happens, we're very active in pulling it down. So if you're thinking of doing it out there, just don't bother with us anyway. We'll come and find you. Yeah, exactly.
Did you ever, in a way, influence the bands that you were releasing music-wise? Did you somehow control the music, the final product?
Well,
how does it work?
How does it work? Well, I sign artists who I think, first of all, are completely, very special, innovative and original, and people that on a personal level, people I feel I can work with. So, and it's not necessarily a commercial decision, it's an artistic decision. So, the people I tend to work with have a lot of their own ideas. They don't really want my ideas, particularly. I think what they're not looking for me to tell them what music to play. But if I can give them some guidance or help to achieve what they want to, then that's really what my role is. So I'm not really influencing them, but I'm, my job is to help them make the best records they possibly can. Why? What have you noticed that makes you think that I?
No, nothing. I'm just wondering because you yourself as a figure are quite strongly connected to the label and also the label catalog, and it has this line of high quality. So I was wondering.
Well, I mean, obviously, I want to make sure the records are great, but I also want to make sure that the records are the records that the artist wants to make. So I'm not going to take over a record and say, right, go away, I'm going to finish this record. There are times when I do get involved with the mixing of a record, for instance, or obviously I get involved as a producer in finding the right producer, and all those things have an impact on the final result, of course, but it's all done very much with the cooperation and of the band. So, and sometimes I say it's not good enough, we have to start again, or we have to change something, but obviously that's my job.
Which acts or bands or artists are you most proud of, or maybe releases? Is it the ones that are the most successful, or maybe you're the most proud of something really brave and different that you decided to release? That's a tricky one. I'm very proud of all of them for different reasons. A band like Liars, for instance, who just released their 6th album, the band like that, they're just a great band and totally original, completely in their own world. I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of Depeche Mode's success. I'm very proud but it's difficult. I think the artists who we work with tend to, whatever they're doing, whatever genre or level of commerciality, I think they put themselves on the line in a way, creatively. That's what I really like about artists who really want to push and take risks. So when they do that, I'm proud of them. And sometimes, when you take risks, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You don't want to be in a space where everything works all the time, because that means you're not really pushing the boundaries. Now that you've mentioned, Depeche Mode is a huge band. It's probably one of the greatest bands still existing. how did you keep them on your label? I guess it was quite tempting for the guys to leave for, I don't know, Universal Music or something.
They still do that, I have no idea, but actually I'll tell you what, I'm going to get rid of this chewing gum because it's bugging me while I'm talking to you. Sorry about that. You know, for 15 years, the first 15 years or so of our relationship, we had no contract.
Really?
Yeah, and we had a profit sharing deal, and it was a very natural relationship, working relationship, business relationship. They trusted me and that we would do our best for them. I worked pretty closely with them to help them. I mean, they don't need me to do it particularly, but I help them anyway to make really great records. And we did I think they did a brilliant job. I think we did a very good job supporting them, giving them a platform, giving them a creative space to do what they do. And they made a lot of money anyway. They don't need particularly the money. They don't need to go to Universal or somewhere like that for financial reasons or anything. So, currently they're out of a contract. I'm still working with them, but they're out of a contract. So who knows where they'll end up? I don't know. But still, I always enjoy working with them in the studio, and yeah.
Are they preparing something new? Are they working on something?
They're recording, yeah.
It's so nice of them that they actually stayed, because if you have an act that big and that popular, it probably helps the smaller acts on the label as well. It's really generous of them.
Yeah. No, I mean it's listen, it's the same with any record label, Universal or Mute. The big successful acts bring in enough money to be able to sign new artists and develop new artists. I mean, that's just the way the business works, And they're really interested in what's going on at Mute, which is nice. They always want to hear the new releases. They always have something to say. They're always polite, and sometimes they're flattering, and they respect my taste, what I sign. They say, well, we don't like it, but good for you for doing it. So it's nice. It's been going on for nearly 30. Well, it has been going on for 30 years, 32 years now. So. We've all grown up together, really, in the business. Because when they first joined Mute, it was Mute was two people, no office, and I'd been going for about at that point, 2 years or something, and I didn't know what I was doing, of course, which is why it's good, and so we found each other in that. They were 17, 18 years old, and that's how we found each other in that situation, and then we grew it together, really.
What's the most stressful moment that you can remember in your career?
I don't know. I think there's a lot of them, but I think things are most stressful when they're out of your control, and so I think the final 2 years at EMI we were trying to leave, and it was a very slow process. And I wouldn't say it was stressful. It was pretty stressful, but it was very frustrating. We were kind of frozen in time. We couldn't really sign anything. We couldn't move forward. It was felt a little bit helpless, I guess, and that's when it's most stressful. But I guess it's all pretty stressful if you look at it in a stressful. I don't look at it as stress particularly. I mean, I used to get very stressed out in the beginning for stupid reasons, really, and for small things, rather than big things. That's the crazy thing. But now I don't allow myself to do that. Maybe I pass it on to other people to be stressed, but I try and avoid it, because it doesn't get you anywhere, and it's bad for your health, and it's doesn't solve any problems.
All right. So, what can you what do you notice as a new trend, or maybe a new hype, or some new thing happening in the music scene?
Well, I think we're going through a period of a lot of people discovering, especially in electronic music, discovering the possibility of making electronic music through at home on their computers, and I think that's very interesting. And software is freely available to create music. There are a lot of electronic music is spreading even more now than ever. There is a whole new generation of kids who live online, who consume music online, who have the possibility of discovering all kind of music, from something that was released yesterday to something that was released 50 years ago. So I think you bring all that together, and there's a lot of possibilities, potential possibilities to make very interesting music. I think one of the what's really obvious, and I guess it's been happening for years, but it strikes me right now, is that what was traditionally experimental music, elements of that are being brought into the mainstream now much more. I mean, that's been happening actually for quite a long time, at various levels, at various times, but I think now is the time when that's really happening a lot, especially in electronic music. Yeah, that's what I think. What do you think?
I don't know. It's quite hard to pinpoint what's happening, because it's really hard to define it, because there's too many things. Maybe that's why I'm asking you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of what I'm saying.
Different scenes, different genres, everything. There are no real boundaries between.
But that's a good thing. And I think if you're a creative musician or a creative person, that gives you a lot of possibilities. That's what I was kind of trying to say. You have access to every piece of music made in the last 50 years or whatever, 60 years. You have access to incredible technology beyond anybody's imagination of even just a few years ago, to try and pull a lot of those ideas into one place. So I think it's, for somebody who's disciplined, imaginative, disciplined and creative, it's a great time.
It's a little harder to find the right way out of all these possibilities.
Well, you have to be a filter. You have to filter things, so that's what I mean by disciplined, because you have all this access. So you say, well, I'm going to reduce the access, I'm going to reduce the possibilities of reduce the possibilities of making the music, and I have a clear idea of what I want to do, so I can filter out for the moment 99.9% of it, and just focus. But you can work through that 100% and say, okay, that's the bit I want, that's where I'm going, and then I'm going to put my own interpretation or influence on that music. So you have to have, because I think if you don't have the discipline to filter stuff, I think you end up making music that's derivative and not original, and so.
What's your favorite song at the moment?
My favorite song? Jesus.
Or a track, or a tune?
I have to say my favorite track at this moment is from the new Liars album, called Wish You, which is the title track of the album as well, because I've just been seeing them play live in London, and that was just fantastic. So it's going around in my head actually as we speak.
All right, thank you very much.
Hey, you're most welcome.